everybody, it's Annie Cyrus. Welcome to my art studio where all the magic happens. This is the station for painting, and that is the station for all the resin art I do. If you want to check out my art, all you gotta do is go to lutfstudio.com. Finish this painting, but I'm sure, for at least I hope, I'll see you at lutfstudio.com. Hello everybody. Hello everybody. I checked Facebook, Michael. We are live on Facebook. Are we live on YouTube?
We are live on YouTube, and I miss that art studio.
I know. Don't even remind me, but soon we'll get it back up. Hi everybody. Welcome to Live Up to Freedom live show. Sorry, we didn't make an announcement because we were using a new system and we weren't sure we can even make it on live.
Yeah, there were some experiments going on behind the scenes before we got started today.
There was, and here's the thing. We need you to work with us. If there's any issues, let us know. We're doing a system that does not actually show us what we're showing you. So if you lose audio, if you I don't know, lose video, whatever, just tell us. But anyhow, hopefully you're all doing good. I don't even know what is today, Tuesday? Yes.
Yeah, Tuesday.
I hope so far your Monday and Tuesday's been good. We have a lot of stuff scheduled for the rest of the week, but we will make the announcements in a bit. First things first, we had exciting news yesterday. That Biden brought us the news.
Exciting is a kind of a stretch. They definitely forgot to give him his dose of amphetamines before he got out in front of the camera.
I tortured myself for 7 minutes to listen. It was a long 7 minutes of Biden trying to talk. It was exhausting. I have never heard anyone. Now, that was the thing, actually. By the way, guys, we're not going to torture you with 7 minutes of replaying his thing. We grabbed the transcript of what he said because it's important to go over it. But I don't think, Michael, I don't think I've ever seen anyone, even a random person in America, not be this way when announcing that we took out Islamic jihadists.
Yeah, well, he couldn't pronounce the guy's name to save his life. And, it was just like, to me, that it was kind of a circular speech where he's repeated himself over and over again. And you had a really interesting observation, too.
Yes, and we will get to that in a minute. But aside the fact that this guy is seriously low energy, but also they are, sorry. He seemed very sad considering what he did, supposedly what he did. Anyhow, let's do this. Let me put this on a screen, and I will do my best, guys, to read this to the best of my ability without tripping over words. But I'm gonna read through this, or might just scan through some of it. But it is important to look at this. As they put it, remarks by President Biden on a successful counter-terrorism operation in Afghanistan, 7:33 p.m. Eastern Time. This was yesterday, August 1st. The president said, "My fellow Americans," I think I'm going to sound a lot more exciting than him, so enjoy that. "My fellow Americans, on Saturday, at my direction, the United States successfully concluded an airstrike in Kabul, Afghanistan, that killed the emir of Al-Qaeda, Ayman al-Zawahiri." By the way, he did not pronounce it correctly, but I'm going to do my best. Al-Zawahiri. You know, Al-Zawahiri was bin Laden's leader. He was with him all day, the whole time. I'm sorry, they put the mistake on the transcript. I have to read it. He was his number 2 man, his deputy at the time of the terrorist attack of September 11. He was deeply involved in the planning of September 11, one of the most responsible for the attacks that murdered 2,977 people on American soil. I'll pause right here so we can dissect just the first two part of this. I go first if you don't mind, Michael, because I've been dying to go after this. First of all, I'm gonna actually put us back on the screen so people don't have to stare at this. First of all, I understand some of these Middle Eastern names, especially Arabic names, are so impossible to pronounce, but I'm pretty sure from at least Bush, because that's when a lot of Arabic names were popular to be said. Until now, every president would have a little bit of practice, a little bit of guidance on to how to say the guy's name. Biden pronounced his name butchered his name 3 different ways. And I know it's a matter of who cares. I think I do. If he is the most powerful man on earth, it would be okay to at least pick one mispronunciation and pronounce that name, because few people from Middle East actually had this inside joke tweeting around today of, are we sure he's talking about the leader of Al-Qaeda, because that name didn't sound like his. I was that's ridiculous. Go ahead.
The Biden White House probably considers this speech to be a victory just because he didn't make up any words during it. I mean, there was no Batacalf care or any of these other words that Biden's just like straight up made up during other speeches.
True. But then it goes to get so many, in so many ways, so he goes to say he was deeply involved with September 11, and he was number 2 for bin Laden on September 11. He goes with a terrorist attack on September 11. Terrorist attack. Until very recently, before Biden administration, I'm pretty sure we used to call it the radical Islamic attack. Isn't that what we called it? Now it's just a terrorist attack. We don't even say Islam in it anymore. We don't say the radical Muslims behind it anymore. We just say terrorist attack. Goes on to say that killed 2,997 people on American soil. But he doesn't give the number of Americans that were killed, right? Because who cares?
Apparently not. Yeah, that was the other thing too. Is like he didn't even always refer to it as a terrorist attack. Like I know he just said that Americans were murdered a few times where it was referenced, which again is odd, not to highlight what it was and what it is, especially when he's out there, essentially bragging that this guy finally got whacked.
Exactly. We're going to read the rest of it, but I want our audience to pay attention, because that was the first thing. Very quickly, for about 10 minutes, Brandon House contacted me to go on his show last night to quickly cover this. And that was one thing I brought up that I was like, are you kidding me? I'm like, no, go listen again. The word Islam, jihad, or Muslims, or Islamic is nowhere, and I mean nowhere in this speech. It's officially removed. He talks about Al-Qaeda. He talks about Kabul. He talks about ISIS. He talks about Afghanistan. Not a word. Islam, Muslims, jihadists, Islamists, none of that. For many years, many of us have been trying to warn that they will gradually remove these words, because they have already removed it based on Phil Haney's information. They have already removed it from all the training of FBI, but now they're going to publicly remove it. We're just going to call them terrorists, which on its own, as you know, Michael, I can discuss this word terrorist on its own for days. But right now, we're just talking about the fact that, did anyone catch the fact that there was not a single mention of Islam, Muslims, jihad, or Islamist anywhere on this speech? We took out, the reason I say supposedly, I'll get to that too, but supposedly we took out the number 1 now, because bin Laden's gone, the number 1 of Al-Qaeda, but we won't mention that they were the Islamic group, they are the Islamic jihadists or Islamic terrorist group. No, we just call them terrorist group. Your take?
Yeah. Well, exactly. They're just wiping it from the vocabulary. And again, not to even use the politically correct term that it's radical Islam, that it's not identified in any way. They don't want people to associate it with terrorism, and that's again a big push for the Biden regime right now. That they don't want that considered when this comes up. It's sad and pathetic, and it is kind of I see it as an attempt to kind of rewrite history, not just to make it politically correct and push this agenda of removing it from our day-to-day vocabulary so people don't see what the real source is.
Exactly. It's like so much cover up that it almost makes me think, was he genuinely sad that we had to take out an Islamic leader? I go back, I get it. He's always low energy. Like even when we get to it, hear me now. One day, or doesn't matter how long it takes, we get you. I'm like, you're so scary right now. What a joke right now.
Well, I've really noticed too, like with his last couple addresses and speeches, it's radically different which Biden you get. Like I know other people were talking about this over the weekend with his, I think it was like a gun control speech, and I don't remember what the other one was, where people even comparing the videos, where it almost looks like two different people. It's such a different energy level and different attitude. Like you could even see it in the eyes.
What do you think that is? Are they giving him something, or what's up?
Real answer, I think they either probably are, or there's a symptom called sundowners for people that have Alzheimer's, where they're tend to be like higher energy in the morning, and the later it gets in the day, they're lower and lower energy. And if some of these were shot early in the morning or whenever he gets up, and other ones were shot, even mid-afternoon, it's like looking at two totally different people.
Oh, yeah. By the way, guys, whomever is watching, would you please share this video? Because I don't know why, just if you want, share this video. Let's go back and start reading the rest of it so we can wrap up this Biden thing for now. I don't know where I was. I was here. There we go. For decades, he was a mastermind behind attacks against Americans, including the bombing of the USS Cole in 2000, which killed 17 American soldiers and wounded dozens more. He played a key role in the bombing of U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, killing 224 and wounding over 4,500 others. He carved a trail of murder and violence against American citizens, American service members, American diplomats, and American interests. And since the United States delivered justice to bin Laden 11 years ago, Zawahiri has been a leader of Al-Qaeda, the leader. From hiding, he coordinated Al-Qaeda's branches and all around the world, including setting priorities for providing operational guidance that called for and inspired attacks against U.S. targets. He made videos, including in recent weeks, calling for his followers to attack the United States and our allies. Now justice has been delivered, and this terrorist leader is no more. People around the world no longer need to fear the vicious and determined killer. The United States continues to demonstrate our resolve and our capacity to defend the American people against those who seek to do us harm. I'm going to stop right here because I want to talk another 5 days about what I just read.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, for all the handful of people who are watching, Al-Zawahiri was, I think, 2 or 3 years younger than God. For last 2.5 years, the only thing he could produce was audio files because he was so old and so ill he could barely sit up. In mid 2020, there was rumors that he even died. So he actually showed up on a camera saying, "I'm not dead, I'm just ill." So all of this as recent as a few weeks ago, and he's been courting. He was somewhat semi-retired. Okay. Again, I didn't shed any tears over his death, which, by the way, I would like to see a proof. I do, because I don't trust anything Biden administration says. But the reason I'm not pushing for proof is because Al-Zawahiri has played pretty much zero role in last 2.5 years of Al-Qaeda. So even if he's not dead, it's not going to make a difference, which takes me back to the last sentence or last paragraph of this speech that I just read. People around the world don't need to fear a vicious, determined killer anymore. Are you kidding me? We got Islamic Republic of Iran, we got ISIS-K, we got Taliban, and Hamas, and Hezbollah, and what are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, so was my other thought that when after this speech came out, uh, was what are they trying to distract from? Is it just the recession news? Because again, like you said, this guy's not a major player anymore. A few years ago, he was still actively involved, but he's basically retired. He's out on the golf course. He's doing what Biden should be doing right now. He should be retired. But instead, this we did the strike over the weekend. So what story were they trying to take away from? What's the distraction?
Well, here's the thing. A few things. First of all, I don't necessarily think this is. By the way, Al-Zawahiri was exactly like Biden, retired puppet. That's what Al-Zawahiri was. He had the credibility, and also that he was the diversion, looking for Al-Zawahiri, not looking for the real leader of Al-Qaeda as of right now. So technically, you're right. He shouldn't have. He did already. He was the old, useless Biden of Al-Qaeda. However, I don't think this was necessarily that this was two things. Number one, the pressure on Biden administration for doing so much help and negotiation with Taliban and Islamic Republic of Iran, they decided we're going to go kill some irrelevant guy who used to be so very scary. Then we can say we're not playing along with Islamic terrorism. That was part of, I as you know, I have many different parts that I think play, but
Yeah.
this whole thing, part of it was we can say, hey, we went after Al-Qaeda's leader. So they can pull a little bit of pressure off themselves with cooperating so much with this terrorist group, such as I said, Palestinian Authority, paper slave resuming, Islamic Republic of Iran negotiation, giving money to Taliban, yada, 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 yada. I think that's one of the reasons they did what they did. If
Agreed.
they did it.
Yes, and that is a big if. And another story that we're going to get to again here with the Taliban is they're under pressure right now to unfreeze more funds for them. So could this be a goodwill gesture to encourage our government to continue to do that?
Well, of course. Here's the thing: as much as people don't want to hear it, the entire withdrawal. Now, I will go back. I will not deny President Trump did negotiate a withdrawal from Afghanistan. He did, but I go back to planning, negotiating, and execution of the plan are three very different steps. A joke that I always like to use is I can think of giving myself bangs and I can start negotiating with myself and convincing myself. Now execution is, do I grab scissors and do it myself, or I go find a professional to do it for me? It's going to give me two very different results.
Yeah. Well, even President Trump's version of negotiating with the Taliban was a lot different than Biden's. Trump basically told them, like, if you guys interfere or attack any of our bases while we're exiting, there's going to be severe consequences. The likes of, he told them we're going to wipe them off the face of the earth, basically. Mm-hmm. So that's the kind of negotiation I want from a president. Strong negotiation, basically saying, hey, you guys attack us, you're done. And they didn't.
Well, but here's another part of it, though. As I said, negotiation. President Trump didn't sign an agreement with the expiration date on it.
Yeah.
They did. Biden cabal did. President Trump, on many things, I didn't and I don't agree with him. But here's what I do agree with him. In any shape or form, any of the Islamic terror groups, when they even tried to make threats, he attacked back. Remember Qasem Soleimani, perfect example. One of the three huge, active, proactive names of Islamic terror that were removed under Trump. Al-Baghdadi. President Trump took out al-Baghdadi.
Yeah.
Biden wants to stand. We took out al-Zawahiri. Oh, really? Not that he can say the name, but I'm sorry, but it's like if I were President Trump, be like, hey, Joe, hold my beer. But
yeah,
again, goes back to, first of all, he didn't do the withdrawal. He was talking about it. Doesn't mean he would have done it. There are no guarantees he would have done it, which Biden regime likes to keep saying he did it. But leaving all of that weapons there. $85 billion weaponry and technology. It wasn't just weapons, it's the technology we left behind. The
Yes.
way the withdrawal was executed, the number of Americans left behind, the number of illegals flown into our country invading us here, the negotiation non-stop moving forward with Taliban to a point where at this point, off the record, we have already legitimized Taliban as the government. We have already legitimized the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. We have reason. We actually looked it up a few days ago, Michael. Their
Yes.
embassy in Washington is called Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. And let's not mention, there is the Afghan embassy in Washington. Well, yes, there is. That's not the worst part. There's a Islamic Republic of Iran consul within the building of Afghanistan embassy in Washington, D.C. as well.
Exactly. And again, like this is something that continues to go on. I wanted to touch on something else you said about like everything that was left behind and all the money and everything else in Afghanistan with the technologies. There's also several things that happened during this withdrawal that are suspicious to say the least. Like I think you covered this story before where biometric data was left behind that someone had to access, that it was left under the desk in, I don't remember if it was in our base or if it was in one of the other buildings there, but this stuff was left unlocked. So they knew who we were working with within the country. That also put everybody else that had been helping us in danger. So there were a lot of things that went on with this withdrawal that were very suspicious to say the least.
Exactly. And again, you know, it's kind of a, how do I put this? It's that, honestly, it takes an absolute blind person to not see how this all was an agreement. Taliban, Biden cabal they shook hands before the withdrawal happened. Everything was pre-planned, and it's still going on. And part of it is this Al Qaeda leader thing. That last week Wednesday, report come out of Afghanistan International that in a small border town, there's a conflict between 3 or 4 Al Qaeda members and Taliban members. And a week later, we go take out Al Qaeda's leader. I mean, come on. Right in the middle of when we're still trying to please Taliban.
Yeah, and that's another thing that kind of leads me to think that it's a symbolic strike. That because of the timing of things and because this guy is at this point basically a figurehead, he's not like he's active, like you said. There's someone else pulling the strings there, but it's something that they can create a big story and create hype around without doing any real damage.
Yeah, exactly. It's and by the way, I was asked by Brandon House last night of, okay, let's say this is part of the reason, you know, Biden is now doing the dirty work for Taliban, going after Al Qaeda's leader. But what's the benefit? How is Taliban gonna pay back Biden cabal? Answer: remember, Biden cabal is here to take America down. They need the chaos. Midterms coming up, so the return for favor is, remember, they shipped 65,000+ Afghans between August and September, and it's still to this day that many of them proven to today, even Project Veritas put out a couple of the names that have ties to Taliban. They send their soldiers in. The favor is to start attacking inside America. That's the chaos Biden cabal will need. For anyone who might think, why would Biden, first of all, for anyone to ever ask, why would Biden do anything that goes against Americans? I mean, you should know the answer. Because those who control Biden hate America and hate Americans.
Yeah, and they think they'll benefit from the chaos this is going to create. And like you said, that's 65,000 initially, plus they're still running flights. Like we don't even know what the total is now. And I'd read a while back that there were 50 people in this group, and that's just the ones that they've told us about, that were somehow affiliated with different terrorist groups or were on different watch lists already.
Exactly. And okay, so here's the thing. I'm as you know, I was very, very triggered by his speech, mainly on the fact of not a single word of Islam or Muslim or jihad any of being in there. But I guess my biggest concerned right now with everything, at least we've been reporting this week, which it's only Tuesday. Like, when I think about it, wow, couple of days
Oh,
and so
yeah.
much has happened. I can't wait for the rest of the week. But regardless of the days of the week, with everything we've been reporting, I'm still amazed that the attention is on wrong things. And again, why am I even explaining? Who cares?
Yeah.
People need to stop being easily distracted with things that could absolutely take a backseat.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff, even with the big story right now today, is obviously Pelosi in Taiwan. But everybody knows China was not going to shoot her plane out of the sky. They don't want World War III. This is a bunch of just them trying to ruffle our feathers, get us to back down. It was all a political game. It was blustering, saber rattling to try to get Biden to back down and not send or not allow Pelosi to go. And then they want to make a threat and they want to look big. That's the big story, but nothing's going to result it.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I promise you, if it would title this video, Biden fell off a bike, we would have thousands of people watching right now because we're mocking Biden. Come on, we're a bunch of grown-ups. Is Biden a miserable... Yes, he is. Yeah. Is mocking Biden gonna solve any of our issues? No. There are serious issues to be discussed, but people just don't want to hear it. Again, I'll go back to terrorists, Biden cabal, Obama, Hillary, all of them guilty as charged, but so are we. I kid you not, Michael, we talk off air a lot. And many times I have told you that I am at a point of saving my time. This week by itself, I've been on air, this is probably about 5 hours. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, between the last 3 days, I've been on air for 5 hours. Mm-hmm. What's the point? Seriously, what is the point? I might as well just, write a 2-paragraph copy paste of other people's research and put it out and feel like I'm doing something.
Yeah. It's everybody has like squirrel syndrome. Every time there's a new object, new story, we get distracted and we take our eyes off the big picture and what's going on. And again, you've covered several of these stories. I know a few of them we're going to touch on later in the week, but they're all a lot of the stuff that you see. The headlines are distractions. You have to look for what the real story is and what's really going on. When the headline's the real story, that's when you know something it's really bad.
Yeah, but another part of it, the scroll syndrome thing is, I think another part of it is, I've said this many times on my many different shows. It's that, now I'm just going to say it. You know what? I'm going to lose the 20 people who are watching me. I'm sure you're okay with that. Stop being a spoiled brat. If it's not funny, if it doesn't make you feel good, you don't want to follow it, you don't want to listen to it, you don't want to hear it, because your little sheltered life of American life is just that perfect. I'll tell you what, they're about to poke the heck out of your sheltered life. Wake up. You're all putting your head down, hiding in the corner like, if I don't acknowledge it, it's not there. As I said, my show yesterday, our show Sunday, our show right now, literally backyard, your backyard is maxed out by Islamists. You still want to stand there and tell me not on my watch? You want to still go mock Biden shaking imaginary friend's hand? Okay, all of that fabulous. CPAC is coming up. We got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of CPAC. In 2 days, CPAC's coming up. Do you really think anyone at CPAC is going to say a single word about Islam? Anybody's going to talk about Taliban? Anybody's going to talk about Iran? I promise you, no. It's going to be filled with gas prices and food shortage and baby formula shortage and all of that. You know why they talk about that? Because that's easier for Americans to hear. So they keep on getting more sponsors and more followers and more votes for talk about all of that. 4 days,
Exactly.
concentrated 4 days of CPAC. I promise you, nobody's going to cover any of that.
No, and it's really a shame considering what's going on just a few hours from where CPAC's taking place, the story you covered Monday. That's right, literally around the corner, and it won't even be brought up.
Yeah, exactly. They're not going to bring it up.
Because it makes them uncomfortable.
I hope you don't mind me sharing this part of our private conversation on air. You
Oh no, go ahead.
Yesterday you told me you're like, it's like yesterday. You know what's gonna happen today, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how else to explain to people that I don't sit here, get all passionate or angry just because it feels good. It doesn't actually. I could have been taking a nap right now because I didn't sleep last night. I could have, I
Yeah.
don't know, being out enjoying the weather, go for a walk, or I could have been doing a lot of other stuff that is way more fun than what I'm doing right now. But the point is, I do know what's here. I do know what's the next step. I am monitoring the Afghan and Iranian news literally 24/7. I'm sitting there
Yeah.
translating.
Exactly. And to kind of put a bow on what you said about taking a nap, like you're not kidding. You were up early this morning. Both of us had an extremely busy day. We had a lot of good news, a lot of bad news. We got a lot of things done. But all that stuff happens behind the scenes. People don't see. They don't realize how much time goes into some of this, or making some of these productions, or just all the research that go into these stories. It's not like we just jump on here after reading a few headlines and talk for an hour. Um, but to get back to CPAC again, you have hundreds, if not thousands, of conservatives that will be there in the city, and an hour and a half away is there's things happening right now that need to be on the national news that zero people are talking about. We've had one article in the U.S. in English about it on one news service, and I'm not aware of any others that have popped up since then. Just your program and the Gateway Pundit article. This is what, an hour and a half from there, and no one will address it.
Exactly. But that's the thing. Sometimes, Michael, to be honest, I feel like, well, they're smarter than me. People don't want to hear the truth. No. People want to hear something that is mid-average, scary, where they can just blame the left, hate on the left, and move on with their life.
Yes.
That's what people want to hear. And that's why every single counter-jihad movement organization is almost out of business.
Yeah.
They are.
They want... Well, what people want is somebody that's going to point out whatever the immediate problem is. And it isn't to say like the food prices and gas shortages and things like that aren't an issue, because they obviously are, but it's not the main issue. That's not the biggest problem that we face right now. But people would rather talk about that, or just make fun of our opposition, make fun of the enemy, without actually connecting the dots and putting these pieces together to see why it's such a problem.
Well, here's the thing. Making fun of our enemy. Okay, that's fantastic. If in any shape or form, helps the situation. But the point is, what have we done on our end? How many representative and Republican active in government do we have that we can be proud of? That again, it's the fact of left bad, left bad, left bad. Right good? Right great?
No. There's only a handful of people in Congress that care at all. And even them, they're treated like they're monsters by the media, so that the message never gets out through them either. We need enough people. We also need dedicated people like you that are watching to send emails. And we got a great email earlier today from somebody that copied, what would you say, like 24 representatives and a bunch of other people on. And she had sent this out to her representatives. She's in California. And it covered a wide variety of issues, but at least she was doing something. She was sending this information out. She had attachments to back up what she said. It was well thought out. And at least this is somebody doing something. And again, if more of us were doing that, we would make an impact. I brought this up several times on different programs, that it doesn't take as many voices calling in, whether it's to your representatives or to a company or to anything else, to make a change. The average, they said, was 200 phone calls to get a company to drop a sponsorship. So all of a sudden you start blowing up your local representative's phone. Maybe I shouldn't use that term quite so loosely, but as long as we're all calling their phone.
You are co-hosting a program with a Middle Eastern ex-Muslim.
Yeah.
Watch your words.
No blowing up anything, but you can make phone calls, send emails, whatever, and be polite. But get the message out. If all of a sudden 100 people a day start calling their office, this is, at the very least, is going to get it onto their radar. They're going to know that people are concerned about it. And that's a first step. But if we're not even taking that first step, then nothing's going to happen and nothing's ever going to change.
True. Very true. Michael, if you don't mind, I'm going to say, let's make a couple of the announcements of this week. What's coming, what's going, what's happening. if you would, I know you're okay with it. Can I start with letting people know we are running my 20th anniversary thing campaign?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, guys. Those of you who've been with me for a while, you already know how it goes, but Facebook is bugging us and not allowing it to be set up. But Monday, August 8th is my 20th anniversary. I'm going to be honest with you, and every other year I was way more excited than I am this year with what's happening, but I am still very much grateful, and I feel absolutely blessed to still be a free American. 20 years, hard to believe. I made it to 20 years. We'll see how many more years I'll make it. But as I said, those of you who've been with me for a while, you know, I have this tradition where I put together a campaign for an organization that has supported me through the years, and I raise money for them. And by the way, anyone who's going to come at me, don't. I'm not putting a gun on your head. If you want to be part of the celebration, you can donate. If not, keep on scrolling, because I had more people attack me than those who have actually donated to this campaign. Anyhow, it is on Give, Send, Go. The link is on my website. It's a giant banner on my homepage. You can find it on liveuptofreedom.com, or you can just directly go to givesendgo.com and look up celebrating my 20th birthday. You'll find the campaign there. I'm trying to raise $2,000 because it is the 20th anniversary, and as you can see, we are on 200 something, and I am very grateful to those who did donate. But every other year we definitely raised our goal, so I'm hoping we do that this year too, and if we don't, that's all right. It is what it is. But I know shadow banning on Facebook won't let you see the link, so I figured whomever is watching might be able to see it here. So either find a link on my website, liveuptofreedom.com, or go to givesendgo.com and look up celebrating my 20th American birthday, or rebirthday, sorry. So I will appreciate your contribution. Money is not going to me. I do have 4 jobs, not 1. I'm not asking for handouts. This is not for me. Before anybody comes at,
Yeah.
You don't have a job. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
It's for a good cause too, because I don't think people necessarily realize, like, just one, how much money it takes to operate the Brandon House's foundation there, plus all the things that they do, like re-releasing some of these books and printing them and selling them for $4 to $5 a piece. Like, that's less than the cost it is to print them, especially once you factor in shipping and everything else. But they're doing that to get the information out, so this helps them offset some of that cost and make things like that possible.
Yes, very true. So that's that. We will have the campaign up. I don't know. I guess we'll leave it up until whenever we reach the goal. But August 8th, Monday, is the day where I will be 20 American years old. Well, we don't count that because that will put me at the age where I can't drink. That's not a good age.
Exactly.
Well, I'm gonna still stay 38 as far as my ID goes, so I can still grab a drink or 2 or 5. I don't know. Next thing is tomorrow. We will be back on this live feed, and I really hope it doesn't feel as discouraging as this one is doing, because we will have with us a very special guest, the one and only Robert Spencer of Jihad Watch. He will join us on our live feed tomorrow. I'm sorry, Michael, what time is 6 Eastern?
6 Eastern. Let me
Okay.
double check.
Yeah, I think it's 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. He will join us to discuss Jihad Watch, but we will get into depth of the Islamic Education Center of Houston that I covered on my Lindell TV show yesterday. Lots of good information. No, rephrase that. Lots of needed information, even though they might be painful. So, I don't know. Put it on your calendar. Don't rely on notification. Tell your friends. Share the video. I don't know. Oh my goodness, Michael. I'm a broken record. You take over.
It is 6 p.m. Eastern, sorry, and that's 5 p.m. Central, and sorry, I'm not sure if that's what you said or not. I wanted to make sure we had the time right.
Yes,
Okay.
5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern.
I was getting confused. We've scheduled so many different things today that they're all starting to run together in my head.
I know, and the 2 different time zone. I guess Emma wants to say. Emma, you want to say hi to everybody? Come on, say hello. My co-host Emma has joined us. You see, if we keep Emma on, we might get a lot of viewers because cat videos are way more popular nowadays. Emma, you want to just sit in for both me and Michael from now on? You know what? Go grab Connor. We should have Connor and Emma host the show.
Exactly.
We would have a lot of audience.
There's literally a channel that just is a 24/7
Oh,
shot
this
of
cat
a.
shits. Sorry.
Oh, I know. There's a YouTube channel that's literally like just 24 hours at Chicken City, just a view of a chicken coop and all the chickens running around, and that
Telling
actually
you.
makes money.
That's the way to go. I mean, I got
Yeah.
3 cats, you got 1 dog. We might actually be able to get our 20th anniversary of me coming to America campaign raised faster. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. That's a possibility. What can I say? Human nature. That's why if you look back in the history, everybody waited until it was too late. Everybody,
Yeah.
every part of history. What? Why are we trying to change history? This needs to happen too. Islamic Republic of America needs to happen to be added to history. So the next 10 generation can learn to fight to take it back as they curse and cuss at us for not doing anything. Because that's what we Iranians do.
Yeah.
For 43 years, we've been screaming at our past generation for doing nothing because they kept saying, oh, it's not going to happen. They're going to get tired and go home. Oh, next election, we'll fix it. Yada, 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 yada. Anyways, Thursday, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be on our radio with Jeff Cruer. We will be discussing Biden cabal's commitment to crash American economy. Podbean is am I saying that correct, Michael?
Yeah. Podbean, not Bean Pod, Podbean, but we'll have a links posted to everybody.
Yeah, but you know how it's gonna be. They're not gonna see it until 2 days later because shadow ban on Facebook stops them from seeing the link. So we're just gonna
Yeah.
tell them way ahead of time.
And what I'm
Live
thinking
up to
about it,
freedom.
could somebody that's watching on YouTube post a comment? I'm trying to just see if this thing's actually frozen or not because it hasn't updated on my screen in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll see somebody talk about cat videos seems to hypenize the crowds. So yeah, we're good
Well.
on, and it's playing on YouTube. So
Okay.
it thankfully this time the glitch is your end. So
Yeah,
We're
yeah, I'll
good
just
there.
refresh it.
okay, so for the radio, you can either go to podbean.com and look up Live Up to Freedom, or just simply go to liveuptofreedom.com on the homepage. You'll see a link to our radio channel. So if you want to join us Thursday, 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, you can find us there with Jeff Cruer discussing Biden cabal's commitment to crash American economy. And then that is all I can think of. Am I missing something? I don't know.
We may have
I
another
gotcha.
feed on Friday, but we're waiting for an update on that one. But we'll definitely let you guys know tomorrow and Thursday if we'll be on Friday as well.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Since I have always had the policy of transparency, guys, we are trying to do things daily with you on YouTube and on Facebook. But I personally don't see much point into doing it daily because you guys don't seem to be interested. No, I'm going to rephrase that. I know many of you are interested, but I think the heavy lifting of how much Islamization has advanced in America has scared you off. I'm not seeing anyone flat out. I changed my profile picture 2 days ago. It's up to 897 reactions. That tells me it's the willpower by audience. You guys are not helping at all. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure Michael's going to try to change my mind because he has not been involved with this shit show of Facebook for 7 years. So he still has more energy than I do. But I don't, as of right now, I don't see a point of us doing this daily. We had about 5 important information to share with you today, but I made a decision to just make the announcements and wrap it up because you guys can't even bother to share the video when there are 16 viewers and only 5 shares. I know you're not sharing, therefore there is no point. As everybody who likes to say, don't ask for money for other organization, go work. The time both of us put into gathering information, writing, doing video, doing anything it is, we can put hours towards work.
Yes.
Because everybody else is worried about their cash with shortage of food, right? Why am I not worrying about that? I'm sorry, Michael. I know you didn't even know I'm gonna go here on this. I didn't either until I started looking at the numbers. There is no point on trying to do 1 hour of live show covering Iran nuclear bomb, Hamas, all of that nobody else is doing. When nobody want, guess what? I guess mainstream media is not covering it because people don't want to hear it. They're dropping ratings if they do it. So why are we trying to do it?
And that's unfortunately, like, we are reliant on you guys to actually spread the word, to share this when we come on, because as like you alluded to, people won't see the notification for 2 days later. We can't count on these networks. But it isn't just the shadow banning, because at the end of the day, we are reliant on viewers and everyone else to help us share and get this message out, because otherwise it doesn't get anywhere. We can't count on the media.
Thank you. I just want to say, Carol, thank you for your absolutely generous donation that you just made to my 20th birthday anniversary. I appreciate that. And yes, Michael, shadow ban exists. But you know what also exists?
Apathy. People not doing anything.
No. Signing up to our newsletter so they can get the videos. When they get the email, forward it to other people. Checking the page. LiveUpToFreedom.com. LiveUpToFreedom.com is not shadow ban, but who's going to leave the comfortable app of Facebook when they can just do this? Like. Who's going to exit that to go to LiveUpToFreedom.com, look at all the new videos, share them, listen to the radio? Who's going to do that? That's the thing. When a generation gets comfortable with a sheltered, lazy, couch potato attitude, survivor like me can make a difference. I can't.
No. And that's part of the problem, is people have gotten so easy and so used to having everything just hand delivered to them through their newsfeed on Facebook. If you ask people to go outside of that now, they're uncomfortable doing that. Plus, they don't want to see something that's going to show them this truth, show them the scary images, show them what's coming. They'd much rather just pretend it's not happening and sit there and be happy, even if that happiness is fake.
Yes. A few of our lovely audience on YouTube are talking about, they either don't use Facebook or don't have Facebook. I understand. I'm just using the Facebook as an example. We are on you name a platform, we're on it. You name it, we're on it. Every single day we're producing at least one video. Every single day we're posting it on liveuptofreedom.com. Forget about social media. Liveuptofreedom.com. It's a website. How do I know people are in there? Because I monitor the traffic on the website. That's how I know. Liveuptofreedom.com is, I think, people such as Dr. Bill Warner, Jamie Glazov, Daniel Greenfield, Brandon House, they have mentioned that Live Up to Freedom is the website when you will find the actual, genuine, legit news from Middle East.
Yeah, and everything's archived on there. Everything that we're doing, plus all the articles you write, everything is on there. And they're easy to find. Everything's by section by section, whether it's live feeds, the work you do for Live Up to Freedom on Lindell TV, Let's Be Frank, our other show, the radio, it's all archived on there. So even if there's something that, like when we talk about that references back, like you mentioned 9 weeks ago is when you originally brought up the Hello Commander on your show. So you can go on her website, you can find the original where she talked about it, and then you can find it again this last Monday where it came all the way to the U.S. already.
Yes. And that's the thing. There is something everybody can do. There is. The hopelessness attitude and hiding behind what's irrelevant. I'm normally not a big fan of naming names, so I always do this part without naming names. But there are pages followed by millions. Their information is spread like viruses every day that are literally just, what do we call them? News aggregators?
Yeah, news aggregators.
They don't even have original content. And they are being followed. As I said, any website, any page that would talk about something to make Republicans feel better about themselves because they're attacking Democrats, it's blowing up. I know, Middle Eastern ex-Muslim said it. But here's the truth of it. Neither side are doing anything for us. And in the middle of all of this chaos we have created for ourselves, Islam is winning. It is. I've said it many times, I'll say it again. I know how to wear my hijab, I know how to do my prayer wash-up, and I know how to do my prayer. Do you? And
And the
if in
speed,
any shape or form, anyone, either me, Michael, Dr. Bill Warner, Robert Spencer, Nani Darwish, if you, if the idea was to become rich and famous, trust me, we all have other talents that would have made us rich and famous overnight.
yeah, we really would be putting cat videos out.
So sometimes, just sometimes, sit down and think for 5 seconds before you try to turn this live feed off, run to another, I don't know, something that eases your pain or guilt or makes you think your side of politics is better than theirs. Just a suggestion.
At the end of the day, it's all just a distraction. It's letting you put off something that's more important and pretend it isn't an issue. And the longer you do that, that's how these things sneak up on people. Because again, the warning signs are out there, and these things are coming to fruition at frightening speed. And you've mentioned things like these blasphemy laws and other things that are getting pushed through the House right now. But again, no one talks about it. It gets brought up here, and then it just disappears. Then suddenly, when it becomes law or it's attached to a bill, we all pretend we're surprised, but we shouldn't be.
We shouldn't be. That's the thing. There are a few ways, on top of my head, I can think of that you can help live up to freedom. Now, let's just quickly name the branches or babies under Live Up to Freedom. We have Live Up to Freedom, but the babies underneath are Live Up to Freedom Radio, Live Up to Freedom, a Monday through Friday show hosted by myself on Lindell TV, Frank Speech. Let's Be Frank shows every Sunday. Me and Michael co-host that show. We have Aki News, Annie Cyrus Unfiltered News on YouTube. And we posted on this very Facebook page, if you look, my cover photo has all of our platforms. So you're unhappy with Facebook, so are we. Let's go somewhere else. Let's meet up there. We are, as I said, we're everywhere. A few ways you can support Live Up to Freedom, all the projects that comes with it. Go to liveuptofreedom.com, sign up to our newsletter, grab the information, spread it like virus to your favorite platform, whatever that is. And if you think you only have 5 followers, so that's going to make no difference, you're wrong. You're wrong.
No.
It will. It doesn't matter if you're reaching 1% or you're reaching 25%, because if we're reaching 17 of you, each one of you would reach 5. Each 5 of those would reach another 5. Maybe by end of the week, we could reach about 5,000 people, right? It's the matter of stop undermining the power of one person. Again, I'm one. I was the one rebel in my family. And I would like to think in last 20 years since I have made it to America, I have definitely became a nightmare they have raised. Just one.
That's all it takes. If you can just drag, this example is always used for elections, but if you drag one more person to the polls and everybody does that, all of a sudden the vote count doubles. But it's true here too. But it's also somebody you find might be really inspired by this. They might be the next person that decides to get out and speak and do the same thing that Annie's doing and that I'm doing, and bring that message and deliver it to more people. Maybe they'll be more effective than we are. That's what we're trying to do, is spread a movement. And the last thing I wanted to say regarding the social media is we really do check those inboxes. So if you message us, send anything else, we are going to see it. One of the two of us, they get checked periodically every day.
Yes, they do. And I normally have a good track record of answering everyone's email. It might take me a couple of days to get to them, but I always answer them. As I said, we had some important information to share, but let's just wait, see how tomorrow feels or day after. Meantime, I don't know if there's anything else you want to mention, Michael, but I'm just going to repeat. Tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, on this very YouTube channel and Facebook channel, we will be joined by Robert Spencer. A day ahead of time, you have a heads up, so hopefully some of you. Let's see if we can get 10 out of the 17 back here tomorrow. And maybe you can post about it on your page. If not, that's all right. Thursday, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we will have Jeff Courier on with us on a radio on Podbean, which the link is super easy to find right off our website, liveuptofreedom.com. And then there's the campaign for my 20th birthday, which again, you can find it on my website, liveuptofreedom.com. In the meantime, watch your back, because we're not going to get into details. Iran's clearly thinking of wiping New York off while wiping Israel off the map. And then we have next Tuesday, August 9th, yet another Trump-endorsed Muslim candidate with lots of red flag who decided to ghost us instead of coming on to talk to us. He is going to walk into the polls and most likely win the primary. Ibrahim Hamideh. As I said, we were going to discuss him, but I don't think that's going to make a difference either. So we're just going to give you his name. The second Muslim candidate with lots of red flag and lots of blank, questionable past, endorsed by President Trump. So thank you, President Trump, for hiring advisors who are either working with Muslims or have no clue at what they're doing. Thank you to our fellow Americans who are voting for people based on endorsements and not their own research.
Exactly. The endorsements, as we both of us said, they don't really mean anything anymore. It's just a stamp of approval. But if that can be purchased for a favor or just because somebody used to be a celebrity on TV, then they're meaningless. They don't tell you anything about that candidate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say you have to do your own research.
Yes, you do. Anything else you'd like to add, Michael, before we hop off?
I just want to say, please share about the show again tomorrow with Robert Spencer. We're expecting that to be really good. He's coming prepared with a number of things, and we've also been researching a couple of topics. We're going to be able to bring you some really good information, and it'll be a really good discussion. And again, since it's on Facebook and YouTube, if you have a question, you can send in a comment, and we will do our best to get to the comments and make sure we get you answers.
Amen. You all stay safe, stay vigilant, and we will see you all tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, on these very two Facebook and YouTube channel. Until then, goodbye.